We'll go Joe, me, Kram.
Joe me Kram? The Joe me Kram variant?
Oh, before we start. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tastes Like Music, Songs of the Year series. New decade, 1990. Weird year, kind of a transitional year. I feel like I was really down on 1990 in the Albums of the Year series, but I'm pretty happy with the songs that I found. I like all of them a lot, so not a totally terrible year after all. How do you guys feel about it?
I'm perplexed. 1990 and I think, what was it, 2018 maybe? The only years for albums where my album of the year winner was only 4 stars. I had no 4.5 or 5s. So it was a weak year. You can watch the albums of the year video 1990 to talk about the weak and the higher echelon of great songs. The Billboard is also quite weak here, except for a bunch of the ones that I picked, which are not just among my favorite Billboard songs ever, but some of my favorite songs of all time happened to chart. And the song I end up having as my winner on this episode is not a charter, but 2 of the ones that did chart are like top 100 songs ever. Like, it was tough to decide the winner, and I'm just like blown away by how lousy most of the list is, but like at the top, it's like gods for me.
Yeah, I mean, albums wise, it's a weird year. Got a bunch of 89 stuff carry over to 90. But I think song wise, there's a lot here. Great year for metal, great year for hard rock. So no problems here on the songs charts.
Okay, so if you've never seen this series before, basically what we do, we each make 2 lists of 5 songs each. The first one is limited to songs that charted on the US Billboard Hot 100. Could be at any number on the chart for any amount of time. It could be 1 week at number 100, and it is eligible. The second list is wildcards, could have also charted, could be deep cuts or B-sides or anything else. One of our lists will be 1 song short because we save our favorite song of the year for the end. And before we get to that, we also make a selection for our least favorite top 40 song of the year. Joe's going to kick us off this week. What do you got for the Billboard?
Well, for the Billboard, this is not going to be one of my better years as far as I think the people out there, the commenters, they're not going to love this one, but I got number 5, I'm Your Baby Tonight. Whitney Houston back on the charts. Love this song. Loved it since we did Whitney Houston discography a couple weeks ago. And it's only grown on me to the point where it's now making my list. Number 4, it is a carryover from my 1989 favorite album, Pump by Aerosmith. I got What It Takes, one of my favorite ballads from them. Probably their last great song, in my opinion, anyway. Number 3, what do you know? Number 3, another one people are going to hate, but I love. I got Vision of Love from Mariah Carey. It's a great song. This is back before she got a little hip-hoppy, just pure, ridiculous vocals. She gets up into like ranges that people, you can't even hear it. It's just dogs go crazy though. Number 2, another female, this is a little dance poppy, but every instrument except guitar on this whole album was from her. I got Jane Child with Don't Want to Fall in Love. Really, really interesting sounding song. I love the way it comes in, the like ascending like vocal part. Some really great synth solos. Just a really kind of weird, interesting song. People said she was like the female Prince for a while, but she kind of flamed out after this one massive hit. Number 1, I'm going to go with a little Prince composed song sung literally perfectly by Sinead O'Connor. I can't imagine a better performance of a Prince song. It's way better than the Prince version that he would later release, way better than the Family release. Just literally perfect. Probably the greatest cover song ever written or ever performed. ever made, at least up there. It's just incredible. She just like wrings every ounce of emotion and passion from the song. Brilliant performance. Really the only Sinead O'Connor song I love. So I'm going to credit some of that to Prince, but an incredible song.
All right. My first Hot 100 pick is a song that was released in 1989. It charted in 90. It's called Cuts You Up by Peter Murphy, who was the lead singer of Bauhaus. It's probably his most popular and best charting song. I think it's a perfect example of like a more underground kind of niche artist successfully making a more commercially viable sound without sacrificing any integrity or losing credibility. And I think here in 90, I mentioned it being kind of a transitional year. You can kind of see more and more of that happening where like this underground music is bubbling into the mainstream more often, setting the stage for things like grunge and Britpop in the near future. My next pick is Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode. I think it's the perfect Depeche Mode song. I believe it was my number one when we did their top 10 songs. It's dark and brooding, but it's also like melodic and inviting. It's danceable, but it's also moody. It's electronic, but it also has organic elements like the great electric guitar lead. I just think it's a perfect balance of everything. It's just like exactly what I want in Depeche Mode. My next pick is the song Pure by Lightning Seeds. Just an undeniable slice of pure, blissful pop, just total ear candy, so catchy, so vibrant, just Technicolor pop music, and I love it. After that, I've got Joey by Concrete Blonde, which was a nominee for me in the Albums of the Year series. Just an amazing song. I considered this for my song of the year. Really just a super simple 4-chord progression that pretty much repeats the entire song, but the melody is so strong and it changes and develops. It's got a killer guitar solo and just like keeps changing enough to keep you interested the whole time. Killer song. I love it. And then my last one from the Hot 100 is also Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. I would expect that all three of us will have this. Another strong contender for Song of the Year for me. I considered it. I had 3 songs that were really fighting for it, Joey and Nothing Compares to You being the ones that miss out. Probably a top 10 or 20 all-time vocal performance. I think it's one of the all-time greats. Like Joe said, she gets every ounce out of it that she can. It is amazing. And I agree, Sinead totally owns the song.
Yeah, let's keep that echo chamber going. You're right. It is a trifecta nomination and was one of the ones that I was talking about before that almost won it for me and is an all-time favorite. I don't have much more to add. You guys spoke about it well. The vocal performance is just simply amazing. My favorite part is when she comes out of that, like, not solo, but that break, and she does the all flowers that you planted woman line, and she starts with that just high note out of nowhere, like, all the flowers that you planted. So good. And really just rich but simple production, just really relying on those strings perfectly. Another one here in the top 100 that I love is an all-time favorite song of mine that could have won this year also. Got Wicked Game by Chris Isaak. One of my favorite male vocal performances of all time. I think he just does that deep, sultry voice just so well and does that like cracked falsetto in the I Want to Fall in Love part. The backing vocals with This World Will Only Break Your Heart are perfect. Little guitar slides. It's a tremendously just, like candlelit, sexy song. Very cool. I also have Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode. Last week, I said Personal Jesus was like the ideal sounding Depeche Mode song, but it's probably this one because it's got such a great driving beat, and the all I ever wanted, all I ever needed is here in my arms melody is so great and gets stuck in your head. It's fantastic. I have one that Jason had last year as a wild card that charted this year, but was severely edited to be a single. I've got Pictures of You by The Cure, cut down from like the 6.5-minute version on Disintegration or however long it is. Tremendous song. It's got such a cool sound to it, and the melody's fantastic. And then here's one. I wore my glasses on purpose because when we did the AC/DC videos, someone called me nerdy. Four Eyes doesn't know rock and roll or whatever. I got Money Talks here in my top 5 for Billboard. I love this song. I think it's one of their just catchier, awesome songs. It's really kind of bright and perky. I love the way Johnson does like those screeching swallows, like it's awesome. And it's just one of their catchiest songs without being like, I mean, the guitars are loud and they crunch, but doesn't have like that heaviness attitude to it. It's almost like a very pretty song for them. It's awesome. I love it. I didn't know it charted. As soon as I saw it on the list, I was like, oh, hell yeah. I did have a very close call, almost getting Money Talks out of it. I think this might be on maybe someone's worst song of the year, but it is a big guilty pleasure of mine. Almost making it was It Must Have Been Love by Roxette. I love that song, and the vocals are great there as well, but didn't quite make it.
Okay. Personal favorites from 1990. Number 5, probably my favorite shoegaze song of all time. We got Deluxe from Lush. Just a fantastic song. I love the kind of weird vocal harmonies they do throughout. It's shoegazy, but it's also like really kind of poppy and bright. I believe it was produced by the guy from the Cockatoo Twins. So cool song. Wish more shoegaze was like that. Number 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just all metal, baby, all the time. Number 4, Hangar 18 from Megadeth. The leads between Marty Friedman and Dave Mustaine on this track, just disgusting. One of my all-time favorite thrash metal songs. I love the Alien, Area 51 inspired lyrics as well. Fun stuff. Number 3, we got ourselves a rare instrumental, but one of the all-time best. Cliffs of Dover from Eric Johnson. A couple of years ago, this would have been my number 1. I know everyone expects it to take the top spot, but it's still just such a great song. It's so expressive and just like catchy without lyrics. It's just doesn't even, I still can hear it in my head. Just the guitar soloing. It's incredible. I love the tone. It's like a violin. Just ridiculous. Love Eric Johnson. Love Avia Musicom. Number 2, we're getting into grunge now, baby. I got Man in the Box from Alice in Chains. One of the first big hits of the Seattle scene. I don't know if it's really grunge exactly. It's pretty metal, but the talk box solo, just awesome. The talk box throughout the song, really, from Jerry Cantrell is just amazing. One of my favorite uses of the talk box. Screw Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora, kicking off the grunge years right now, baby, 1990. But not my winner. My winner will wait. You will know my winner.
All right, wildcards. So the Pixies went back to back in 89 and 90 for me with albums of the year. I kicked off my wild card list in 89 with a track from Doolittle. And now I'm going to kick it off with a track from Bossa Nova. I've got Dig for Fire, which Frank Black called a bad Talking Heads impression, but I don't really hear it that way. I think it's a really great song. I love the spoken word verses. I mean, Frank Black does kind of have that David Byrne thing when he's doing the more spoken word. He's just like so captivating for some reason. You don't really know why. So weird and different, but I don't think it doesn't sound like a straight David Byrne impression or anything like that. I love the drum sound on this track and on this whole album, really. The guitar sounds are awesome. His delivery, like I said, is so unique. And I love the way his voice interacts with Kim Deal's on the chorus. So cool and unique. My next pick, got a country song from Dwight Yoakam. It Only Hurts When I Cry. co-written with Roger Miller. This was actually one of the final songs that Roger Miller wrote before he died in 1992. It's just a great country song. I love it. I think there's great playing on it by everybody involved. And then I've got another sort of country song. This one is of the alt variety. Got Graveyard Shift by Uncle Tupelo. Love that main riff. And then it just explodes into kind of like this punk rock song almost. And then you've got kind of like a power pop pre-chorus. Sort of sounds like the Smithereens almost. But the melody over all of it is kind of just a folk song. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like they're blending all these styles together. It doesn't feel like a concoction. It just feels authentic and real, and it's awesome, and it rocks really hard. And then my last one, before we get to the worst of the year, I've got Wild Horses by Prefab Sprouts. Just a really cool song, very unique. I think the first time I ever heard Prefab Sprout, or the first time I ever heard a Prefab Sprout song, was a cover of this track done by Natalie Prass. I think she does a great version of it. I don't know, it just sounds really ahead of its time for 1990. The production's really cool and sparse. I think the vocal style on this track really reminds me a lot of like what Dirty Projectors would do later on. I think you can draw a direct line from this song to like something like Temecula Sunrise. Very cool, unique song. Love it.
All right. I'm going to kick it off with a few representing my album of the year nominees. One of them being my winner from Ride. I got the song Polar Bear. This is a really loud, energetic, kind of bombastic shoegaze song with all the elements of like the love loss and the romance and all of that. But it's got like a more anthemic presence in pretty much everything on the album. And it's got really cool sparse drums that like slowly build up and just create this really cool dynamic. I think it's great. Then I've got the lead-off track from Yo La Tengo's Fake Book. I've got Can't Forget, which is sort of like this cool folk country kind of sound to it with just a killer country sounding guitar on it that is really majestic and beautiful. Really soft-spoken lyrics with these beautiful like ahs in the background make this dreamlike quality to it. Really gorgeous track. Then the opposite of gorgeous, really dirty and rockin', Neil Young with Fucking Up from Ragged Glory. Really heavy and hard and just like kind of all attitude and anger. And I also love the video of him playing. Like the rest of, I think it's Crazy Horse on this, they're playing and they look so much younger than him, and he's starting to look pretty old, but he's dressed with like the backwards hat and ripped jeans and stuff like everyone else in 1990 was. And he's just like, yo, I'm the godfather of grunge. And he's getting down there and headbanging with the guitar down by his knees and stuff. It's friggin' awesome. And then finally, this is one for the boomers, because everyone thinks I don't like classic rock or the sky. Got the Vaughan Brothers with Telephone Song. Came out shortly after Stevie had died, which makes it a posthumous album, but this song is fantastic. The guitar part on it is just filthy. Like the rhythm he's playing, his right hand, whatever the fuck he's doing, is just so energetic and awesome. And it's just got this cool like blues flair to it. He does his classic like Hendrix style solo and like psychedelic kind of sounds, a little bit of Cream sounding in there as well. But the real anchor here is the bass and the drums. The rhythm section on this song is airtight, really alive, really hot. It's a little bit overproduced, which a lot of like that late 80s, early 90s blues stuff is a little too slick for its own good, but doesn't really bother me on this track. It's just some of the best guitar work and just rhythmic playing I've heard. I love it.
Right. Let's do the worst song of the year. I feel like there's a lot more worst songs now. Like this is really when like the glory day of the worst song would not only like get to the top of it, like on the charts, but like to the top of the charts. I'm gonna go with a real bad one. Maybe you guys will follow along. I think this will be a popular choice. I have Ice Ice Baby from Vanilla Ice. Now, Krams are just missed his Billboard 100. In one way, it's decent because it does sample. Well, I don't think it samples. He just stole. He tried to say it wasn't stolen, but clearly we have ears. Stolen from Queen and David Bowie, Under Pressure. But it was. I mean, it was stolen. He took it. He threw a really bad rap over it, and made a lot of money off of it. And I think I like the Alvin and the Chipmunks version better. That came out in '91. It's just really bad. Just a terrible song. Funny thing about it is when it came out, Ice Ice Baby got a lot of critical acclaim because it basically diversified hip hop and introduced it to teenagers and mothers and old people. Everyone could get into rap now.
All right, my pick for the worst song of 1990 also topped the charts. Probably isn't as well remembered as Ice Ice Baby. This song, I think, has kind of disappeared into obscurity. But I've got Because I Love You, the Postman song by Stevie B. How this made it to number one is one of the great mysteries of the universe, I think. It is completely hookless. It doesn't build, it doesn't change, it doesn't go anywhere. There's just a hi-hat keeping time the whole time. It almost sounds like a click track. The lyrics are completely stupid. It's very underwritten. And aside from the hi-hat, there's just piano, a string pad, and his vocals. And somehow all three of them are way too loud. There's this weird like synth chime solo in the middle, which really just feels like a placeholder. The whole thing just feels like a demo. But even as a demo, if you heard this as a demo, you'd be like, you got anything else? I have no idea how this became so popular. I don't know if it was associated with like a movie or a TV show or something, but I have no idea how this would get that much traction because it is really weird.
Right. Not bad. My least favorite top 40 song of 1990 is Black Velvet by Alana Miles. Can't stand this track. I think when we were talking about Boston's Don't Look Back, I said that might be the worst and laziest bass part I've ever heard, but this one probably takes the cake. It is just totally rhythmless. It is just floating all over the place. It's not tight in the pocket at all. It's just boom, 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 boom. It's her voice sounds awful. The whole like dark gothic country, pop country vibe is not working for me here. It sounds like it's like for designing women, and her voice is just terrible. She starts, she gives it a little bit of power and oomph in the chorus, but the bass does nothing and the music behind it does nothing to help her out. It's just like, I guess we're going to the chorus now. But boom, 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 boom. It's a hideous track. I can't stand it.
Love that song. Phenomenal. Won
Really?
the 1990 Juno Award for Single of the Year in Canada. It's a great song. I love the bass. What are you talking about?
They were in depression mode after trading Gretzky to LA, so they had no idea what they were doing.
Well, anywho, my winner for 1990 probably should have won in 1989 for me. What is it? Epic, Face No More. It came out in 1989, but didn't chart until 90. Probably should have put it on my Billboard list. Dumb, stupid of me. Missed out on adding another good song to my list, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I love this song. It is my favorite Faith No More song, as anyone can see if they go back and watch our Faith No More discography. Just everything about it, the great metal guitar from Jim Martin. Mike Patton kind of comes on the scene with the band. They're basically like this kind of funky, kind of weird, I don't even know what the hell they were. But he comes around and makes them just completely bizarre, but not yet, because he came in like after the music had been written. He didn't quite get like his hooks on it and take them in like the super weird direction they get to with Angel Dust. So this one is still like very like mainstream almost, but it's weird enough with some really cool like I don't know what the heck it is, diminished guitar runs right before the chorus. Great bass line, and just the way it's constructed, the big ending, it's like Layla for the alternative rock set with the piano that kind of builds out of the guitar. And it's just a really cool, unique track. There's probably nothing like this at all, in popular music. Made it into the top 10, I think. And they never did the rap thing again, which I get, but I feel like it could have been integrated a little bit more into what they were doing, because I think it sounds just really cool and unique. And I don't know, I guess Mike Penn didn't want to be a rapper, but I think it rules. It's my favorite song of 1989 and 1990, but I'll put it in this year.
My winner for 1990 is kind of a weird one and probably a little unexpected. So hopefully Kram's got something that can beat Epic. But I'm going with Birdhouse in Your Soul by They Might Be Giants. One of my favorite pop songs ever. It's almost like, it reminds me of like a comedian that keeps adding tags to their joke, and it's just like rolling punchlines and laughter builds and builds. That's kind of what this song is, just with hooks. It's just like you get the one hook and you think you're enjoying the chorus, and then another one, even better one, comes along and just keeps building. It's just like one great melody after another. Every part of the song is so interesting. And I think it's just weird enough. The lyrics are pretty strange, but like you can't really even take the time to think about the lyrics because it's just like melody, melody, melody just coming at you. I think it's awesome. And They Might Be Giants aren't for everybody. They're a very, I guess, quirky band. So you either they're your thing or they're not. But I think this song could appeal to almost anyone. I think it's just an amazing pop tune. And I love it. My favorite in 1990.
Well, that's adorable and everything, but we've got a pay-per-view level heavyweight showdown here between me and Joe. My pick is Man in the Box by Alice in Chains. That's going to be a good fight between Epic and Alice in Chains. Two songs that still get a ton of radio play on alternative rock stations to this day, and rightfully so. I do like Epic a good bit, so hats off to you. But this is one of my favorite songs of all time. Has one of my favorite guitar solos of all time, and Staley's performance here is so invigorating and full of passion. Like when he does the "In My Eyes" and everything, and Jesus Christ thing coming out of every verse, but especially after the solo, he is just so much power and frontman and presence. It's just fantastic. Obviously has just really cool vibe to it, like Joe said, with the talk box and everything, and just those like everything like crunching together with that bass and the guitar and everything. And the lyrics are really dark and everything's just so heavy. It's just one of the best songs ever. It pumps you up so much. Jerry Cantrell just running the gambit in the solo, just has such great feel, never goes over the top, doesn't have to do tapping and everything. He is probably my favorite guitarist of the grunge scene because he really is playing just like a classic rock, hard rock, player designed for this style. It's absolutely fantastic song. I even love how it all, like when they do the shut at the end and everything just like gets swallowed into that quick cut. What a cool way to end it. Fantastic song. I'll see you in the ring, Faith No More.
And now I wish I'd put Faith No More in 89 so we could have had the same track as the winner in 90. That would have been cute. Fortunately, no. Now we're pitted against each other in a battle for metal supremacy. So that'll be fun. That'll be good.
Maybe you'll get a vote over there, kiddo.
He's going to take home anyone who doesn't love metal might gravitate towards, or they'll probably just take the week off because no one's voting for that shit.
All right. So if you don't know what we're talking about in regards to voting, we've got a little competition going. Visit our website, vote for whichever song of the year you like the best. Right now, Joe is in the lead. I think he's ahead by about 3 votes for me, but we are recording this before we release the 89 video, so we can't give you the official updated score. Stay tuned for 1991 to get all of the score updates and see how this thing plays out. Aside from that, let us know what you think of our lists, the winners, and all of our picks. Drop your own list down in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. We've also launched a Patreon recently. You can check that out. That is linked in the description, along with our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and merch store. A lot to look at. Check it out, follow us, and we'll see you in the next one.